Quick disclaimer. Hi, it's been a minute, but I'm back. New development, I guess, just the matter to this video is that I'm currently an ambassador for Rollerblade for the year of 2023. I just started. And Rollerblade did send me the skates that I'm currently talking about, but in no way does that affect my opinion or the channel. As you'll see in future videos, I will continue reviewing and showcasing other skates. But personally, I will be riding Rollerblade products as of now. So the skate I'm going to be talking about today is a skate that's actually been out for like 2 weeks already, and I'm a little late, to be honest. I made a short video. If you're on my Instagram, I have a new Instagram for myself, which is at mygo_IG. So I made a short video of the unboxing and just riding them around initially. But since I haven't made a new video, so yeah, we're talking about the Rollerblade Crossfire. Now, these skates are really special for several reasons. The most important one is that this is the first ever slalom skate that Rollerblade has ever created. I don't believe they've had a skate specifically made for slalom before. It is also the most recent. It's been a while since they made a carbon boot that wasn't like a speed skating like boot, because for a while most of their carbon boots have just been speed skates, like the Endurace, the E3 or E2, whatever it was called, and they haven't had a carbon boot since the Metro Blade. So if you go online, the Crossfire, or if you look at the titling for what they are, they're an intermediate to pro skate, and they're a slalom / urban skate. I think they're more of a slalom skate, but definitely with urban functions. We'll get into that. So when I initially saw these skates, they were leaking photos of them, and they were all like blacked out, and you couldn't really tell what they looked like. And I was kind of worried that they would have like a very generic look, because it's only a silhouette. When they leaked the photos, it was like a blackout of them, and I was worried it was going to be really boring looking. But when I ultimately got my hands on them and saw them, I was really surprised, and I really like the aesthetics. Now, as you can see, it is a straight up black skate. It is just different shades of black. And if you've ever seen any of my videos, I just wear black, which is probably the worst thing to do if you're skating around in an urban environment, to just be as invisible as possible, just wearing black. But I love black, and man, this skate went to town with this. There's this interesting thing going on where there's like lots of layering on this skate. So there's like the carbon base, and then like this vinyl skin on top of it, but then there's like another layer on top of that, and then there's a toe guard, and even on the front, like I'll get some zoomed in shots. You can see there's so many like layering here. It's super armored. Like you can see it also in the 45 strap. They have like an interesting thing going on here, which I really like. I'll show it in detail later on. But yeah, it looks so armored up. Has this really beefy slide guard right here. Just has this like tank look. If Batman rollerbladed, like the Dark Knight, this would be his skate. I just feel like the aesthetics are inspired by the Dark Knight or something. Just like straight armored, blacked out. I really like it. It is a carbon boot with an integrated liner. So the liner is built into the skate. You are not taking that out. It's really nice. So I guess I'm going from the inside to the outside. It's really nice. It fits really well contoured, especially in the back. There's these nice little pads in here, in the back, that like are contoured to your heel and your Achilles tendon. So it like locks in your heel, so you don't have any heel lift. So you feel really locked in. It's not very narrow, because I've had problems before with slalom skates that tend to be narrow, especially like the European skates. They were just like something like a power slide would definitely cut off, and I get these pressure points on the sides of my feet. But luckily this is not wide, but like just pretty neutral, and I've had no problem so far. I do wear a size 9 US and a 42 EU, and these are size 9 currently, and they fit pretty well. Just very little room in there, but definitely not swimming around, almost perfect. I'm honestly kind of like a 41.5 in reality, or somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9. Because I like my skates really snug, but definitely no problem. So US 9 true to size, it's pretty much it. We're gonna start from the bottom. So as I mentioned earlier, we have this really nice toe guard, and it's like really thick plastic. It seems it is not replaceable, it is not removable, but it's in a good place because a lot of time when you're doing slalom, your toes pointing in the ground, and occasionally you will mess up. And it's nice you have this really strong material here to protect it. On the side, like I said before, we have this really beefy slide guard. So as you can see, it sticks out. It's really beefy, and you can see all that like protection, not only on the side of the boot, but up next over here on the buckle, on the 45 strap. We have like a little lip here that protects. So if you were to fall and hit the ground, this little lip here would protect the buckle. But for some reason, that doesn't carry on to the buckle on top. So the buckle on top is exposed, but I guess these two things, the slide guard and the buckle guard here, will kind of elevate it enough where you won't hit the buckle. But I would have liked to seen a little guard here right under the buckle to protect it when you fall, especially because the other side has it. So if you look on this side, right here we actually have a little lip right there that protects the receiver for the buckle. So I'm wondering why, if they did it on this side, well, they could have simply just made a little lip right here to protect this side. But all in all, like I said, it has the two other elevated areas here that are designed to protect the boot when you fall, and they should suffice. It has 3 straps on it, which is very common for like slalom skates. So we have a toe strap, which is in the form of a Velcro. We have the 45 micro ratchet buckle, which is really nice. I'll zoom in and talk about that a little more later. And then we have the buckle on top. All right, so starting from the bottom, the toe strap for the Velcro, it's secured nicely on. The Velcro seems pretty good. This 45 strap, the micro ratchet, the adjustable, the 45 strap, I really like. And not because the strap, the buckle itself is like special, but actually, like it is nice. I'll go over some of the details, but it's actually what's under it. So I'll start with the buckle itself. As you can see, I mentioned before, it has this guard here to protect you if you fall and not mess up. And then we have the ratchet to tighten your skates. And then after that, the release is kind of cool because normally there'd be like a little button you press here and your buckle would release so you can get out. But here it's actually these two things on the side. You just press it and it releases your buckle, which is really nice. I haven't seen that yet. The other thing that's really cool is that the 45 buckle, when it comes around from the inside of the skate, it wraps around and it goes through this little loop here, right? You'll see it. And then into the buckle. So it's kind of like guided and it kind of rounds into your skate. Another thing I like about it, and you probably see it, I'm going to open it up right now. So the really cool thing about it is that this skate has these little flaps here that come off the boot. So you can see it here, little flaps that come off the boot, and they're really long and they kind of fold over each other, right? So you can see it here. They actually fold over each other and they create this nice area. So when you tighten the ratchet strap, which ultimately goes over them, so the buckle goes over, right, like this. When you tighten it, even if you tighten it very hard, you don't feel the actual buckle like ever stab into your foot. Because sometimes if there's nothing here, like these two strong, thick vinyl flaps, if you ratchet a little too hard, then you can almost feel this buckle stabbing into your leg, into your foot. But you do not feel that here because, like I said, these two flaps go over each other, creating this really thick surface for the buckle to go over. So if you're really secure, really locked in, and with that nice padding in the back designed to hold your heel and Achilles tendon in place, it's a nice lock-in. Next part we go up is the buckle, the top buckle. It has this nice snap to it. It doesn't lock, like there's no locking mechanism here, but you can hear it slap back, nice spring there that holds it in. It goes around, and then on the cuff, the receiver's on the other side. The release is also here. You pull it up and it latches up to loosen the buckle. Another nice thing is that the buckle has a special channel. So as you push it in, it actually gets tucked in behind the actual cuff and on the inside, so it doesn't protrude out. So yeah, so that's the buckles. It has lacing from the bottom to the top. Nothing too special. All black laces, not waxed. It's pretty normal, pretty good, doing the job. Up next, we're gonna talk about, I guess, the cuff. So the cuff is what is expected of a slalom skate. Slalom skates have kind of like, not minimal, but kind of smaller cuffs, because it's ultimately designed for maneuverability. You know, like it definitely has support, but it's designed so your ankles can really move, because when you're doing slalom, you're doing all these crazy moves with your feet, and you want that ankle mobility. You know, you don't want to be restricted. You don't want so much support that you can't really use your ankles. And you can see it here in the back of the cuff. We have a big V cut. So yeah, you can also see these relief cuts on the side here, which are designed to give the boot more flex, even though it's nice and thick. Right there, some extra flex. Up next, you have these carrying buckles right here, which I've already beat up pretty bad with a reflective element on them. I never really use them because I use a carabiner, which is somewhere here. You know, just use your carabiner, carry both of them. Great thing to have. But the other thing that's cool about this cuff is that it's actually adjustable. So if you look on the side, there's an arrow, and this arrow indicates where your cuff is being offset. So you can adjust this cuff to be offset in any direction. So how it works is that the bolt that holds in the cuff is not centered. It's actually offset because of the receiver that goes between the bolt and the actual cuff itself, which offsets it. And due to this, you can actually move your cuff in different directions if you want. I left it on the default thing I found it on, which was, I guess, the cuffs pushed a little more forward. But yes, normally this is like built into the cuff where it can only lock in certain directions, because there's a groove. Like, you'll turn this little receiver here that has the arrow and it'll get stuck, and they can only like literally do certain directions, up and down or left and right. But there is no groove in this, so this can spin in like any direction, and it can offset in any direction, which is kind of crazy. I have not played with it, but I imagine someone who wants to be really particular can make one side up and one side down, essentially canting your cuff. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. Up next, we have the boot itself. The bottom, I guess we could talk about it. It is a carbon fiber boot, as I discussed earlier. One of the very interesting things is the way this is mounted. So it's a 165 mount, right? But what's kind of weird is that it's not really 165, because the two receivers that take the bolts from mounting the frame can actually slide a fair amount. I'm not sure the exact number in which they can slide up and down. If you can slide them to their extreme opposite ends, I imagine you can fit other frames. Maybe that was the purpose of this. I don't understand why they can slide up and down. I found it a little annoying when I took the frame off, because then when I put it back on, I wasn't exactly sure if it was where it was before, but I seem to get it right. But it's an interesting concept to have the receivers have the ability to move significantly to accommodate different frames, I imagine. So next thing we're going to go up to is the frame. So pretty basic frame. It's extruded aluminum. It's a 243 millimeters, and it holds a 80 millimeter max wheels. So 80 is the biggest you'll go. If you get a size 8.5 and up, it comes with this frame, which is, like I said, the 243 millimeter with the 80 millimeter max. But if you wear 7.5 and under, I believe, I'm pretty sure, it comes with 231, I'll probably correct it here, with a smaller frame and 4x76 instead of 80. So also on the frame, there's these rockable axles. So that's one of the cool things about this frame, is you can either ride it flat or you can rotate these axles, and by doing so you can rocket the wheel up or down and have a rocket setup. You know, you can just get to your spot. I guess you skate to the area. When you get there, you set up your cones and then you adjust your axles to be rockered, and now you have the mobility of a rocker. So now you can just mess around with the cones, and then when you're done, you pick up your cones, you rotate your axles, and you're flat again for the street. So that's kind of cool. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that because I find that I'm more of a specialty frame kind of guy. So I'll have one frame for a certain thing, because the reason I don't like it is I burn through wheels a lot, and I'm constantly rotating wheels, and these axles slow down the process maybe by about 30 seconds, and maybe I'm too anal about it, but I'd rather have zero delay and just rotate my wheels fast. But if you're into exploring different setups and you like the versatility, then this is definitely for you. All right, so the wheels that it came with are the Hydrogen SE. From my understanding, these are new wheels, and I can't find them online. They're made specifically or only available for this skate at the moment. They're 85A, so the usual hardness for Hydrogen. They're 80 millimeters, and what makes them particularly special is they have a solid core. So the other Hydrogens do not have a solid core. They kind of have it's like a star shape, or they have like spokes essentially. But no, this is a solid core. For I understand, it's not exactly the same as a Hydrogen wheel, like the basic Hydrogen wheel. There is something different to it, and I believe it's specifically designed for slalom skating. So, like I said before, I do believe, even though the word urban is in the description for this skate, that it is primarily a slalom skate, for the reason that it has the ability to get rocketed for slalom. And also, the cuff itself is, definitely a slalom cuff. It's on the more forgiving side, not overly supportive. So you have all that ankle mobility, but also I feel like it doesn't have enough protection for the cuff. And I feel like urban skates usually have beefier cuffs. That's kind of like one of the qualifiers, because they kind of know that you're gonna fall because you're trying like things like jumps and stair bashes and slides. So maybe if the cuff was a little beefier, but I'll say this is primarily a slalom skate. They can do urban. I do not do slalom. I might mess around with cones, but I would not call myself a slalom skater. But I'm definitely still gonna use it for urban because it is a solid boot. It is carbon is if you can get a carbon boot, they're great. The power transfer is amazing, especially when they have an integrated liner like so, because there's no slip between the liner and the boot itself. They're married together. They're a one piece, so you are one with the boot, and the boot is one with the wheels. Nice control. They say that like if you do wizard skating, which I'm gonna throw some wizard frames on this eventually, I have my yo-yos. Carbon is the way to go, because you need that. You want to feel that direct connection to the ground, and carbon is definitely the way to go for that, as you can see for slalom boots and wizarding. So I guess that's it for now. I went over the skates, gave you the details of them. As far as riding them, the wheels so far don't feel any different from Hydrogen wheels, to be honest. The standard Hydrogen wheels, the wear is pretty good, pretty decent, nothing bad. The skate fits fine, it's breaking in perfectly. I'm not having any hot spots, no blistering. The sizing worked perfectly. It was size 9 US and it fit true to size. So I'm generally happy with the performance of the skate, and I'm looking forward to swapping out these frames and trying them out with something like a wizard setup or possibly a Toller setup, and see how they perform for that. If you have any other questions, or if I miss anything and you need me to answer, please let me know in the comments. And that'll be it. That was my overview and short review of the new Rollerblade Crossfire.